Hey, welcome to the Damon Brew Show, brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. It is so good to see you here once again. Thank you for coming on back. Today's live stream being powered by BetUS, a great promotion still going on. Use promo code YouTube150 to get 150% deposit match up to $2,000, up to $2,000 on your first deposit right now at BetUS. And my God, you got a whole new league to be betting right now. The NHL or NBA tipped off. The NHL has been skating. Not that the Sharks have been winning, but we got ourselves basketball season, and we're going to have ourselves Golden State Warrior basketball tonight. But I always want to start with what the thumbnail says we're going to talk about. And we're talking about LeBron James and Bronny and what we saw last night. We got a lot of stuff to get into today. So thank you for being here. You can be hanging out anywhere. Cheers. By the way, I did have a chance to go upstairs and make myself a hot pot of coffee, which I did not have for wake up this morning. Woo, that's hot. That's hot. We're going to have to wait for that to cool down a little bit before we reach sip of the day status. But it was really good to have basketball back last night, wasn't it? I'm happier when it's on my TV in the background. I was just watching NBA basketball, happy to do it. Spend time watching the Celtics, and that's all the Knicks really did. They just watched the Celtics shoot all those threes against them. They nearly set the new 3-point single-season game record, but the lid went on, and they missed, their last 10? Ha-ha. Still, though, very impressive opening night win for the Celtics. I can already tell we're shooting way too many threes this season, aren't we? We're going to do that. And then the Lakers hold off Minnesota. And obviously, it felt like that all took a backseat to the moment of history that everyone was waiting for. When would Bronny James check in with his dad? And, there was a little caught on mic moment where he says, are you ready to go? Just be intense. When you get out there, be yourself, be intense, have fun, but be intense, match the intensity. And then they're checking in, and the guys didn't even pound it out with each other. Didn't even knuckle up. He didn't even give his kid a head tassel. And maybe that was by design. You're not trying to treat your kid like your kid, but the whole point of that moment is that is your kid. There is something incredibly awesome about it. And at the same time, there is something incredibly wrong about it, all at the same time. Two things can be equally true. Now, maybe this isn't hitting you the way it hit me, and I'm going to say that it wouldn't have hit me had I not become a father 2 times over to 2 young men, two little boys. They're not even close to young men. I got 5, I got 3. But you cannot help but think how cool of a moment that is. How incredible of a moment that is. It would be the equivalent of, in a few years, had Canyon Barry been Steph Curry's first son. Could you imagine 3-4 years from now, 5 years from now? You got Steph's kid playing with him. There's not a single Warrior fan who'd try to crap all over that. Unless, of course, it appeared the kid was completely unqualified to be on an NBA team, in which case some people might stand up and say, wait a minute, sports is the ultimate meritocracy. What you can do for the team is more important than who you are, who your dad is, where you come from, where you went to school, how much money you got. This is about merit. And especially in a sport of basketball, where wearing beige and blending in is harder to do on a basketball roster because it's smaller. These are the highest paid group of athletes in the world because one singular guy can make that much difference to a team. Now, that guy is hardly ever the last guy on your bench, but God forbid you need him to go in and play, he can. Whether Bronny James can actually do that remains to be seen. Every single statistical indicator and naked eye test says what he needed more than anything else was 2 or 3 more years in college. LeBron James Jr., Bronny, more than anything else, needed to be a sophomore at USC more than he needed to be a Los Angeles Laker. And this isn't one of those things where he had to go out and throw his name into the draft because he had to buy his mama a house. His mom's okay. All the Jameses are doing just fine. When it's about sports, it has to be about sports. Even at the behest of this cool moment, which indeed it was cool. How cool must that have been? Did I also see it was his daughter's birthday too? So you get, it's your daughter's birthday and you're making your season start with a professional debut of you and your son playing in the same NBA game. LeBron kicked it out to a 3, which Bronny missed. How cool would that have been if his dad had assisted him on his first bucket of his career? Like, that would have been incredible. I really wanted that shot to go in. I'm not rooting for LeBron or the Lakers or anything like that, but as a dad, like I said, you got to appreciate the moment. In your life, I really mean this. In your life, you are never going to see any player on any team exert more control over the team they play for than LeBron James has been able to accomplish with the Los Angeles Lakers. You know, he said, go get me Anthony Davis. So they went ahead and they did that. And then he said things that were terrible to say out loud, like, go get me Russell Westbrook. And they went out and they did that. Get me this, get me that, fire him, trade him, acquire him, cut him. The man really is the voice behind every move the Los Angeles Lakers make, including go get me a coach who has talked about coaching on a podcast. You know, and look, JJ Redick is obviously more than just a podcaster, but JJ Redick has not been a coach until now. And I cannot help but notice that the Lakers are undefeated and he's the winningest coach in NBA history by winning percentage. So, you know, great hire. But whether it is a great hire or not a great hire, only time will tell. But LeBron told the Lakers what to do there too, the same way LeBron said, go ahead and draft my kid. That's power, folks. That is a level of power that no athlete has ever been granted. Other athletes have been granted the power of make all the money that you can, influence trades, get a coach fired, maybe even acquire a player here or two there along the way. But no player has ever been able to say, I want you to draft this person, not because of skill, not because of ability to help us win, not because he is the right fit for the team. He's my son. So we're drafting him because he's my son. In your entire life, you might never see that again. You know, there was a reason why Ken Griffey Jr., who, by the way, Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. were at Staples Center, crypto, whatever, forever Staples as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, the Griffeys were there, pretty cool. But the reason that Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. were the first father-son combination to play together is because the father was a very entrenched, established major leaguer. And the son was basically one of the most famous baseball prospects of all time, not because of the name, but because of the skill level. Everybody looked at Ken Griffey Jr. when he was 13 years old and said, you take the name off the back of his jersey, that kid is a pro. If you take the name James off the back of Bronny's jersey, that kid is a really good player at the YMCA. He is not an NBA player. He is not ready to go, which makes you wonder, what are the Lakers doing? But we know what they're doing. They're making LeBron happy, and LeBron is the Lakers' meal ticket. You'll never see power like this again in your life. Ever. Ever. I don't know what player could ever be able to, number one, have a career long enough. I mean, that's where this all starts. You have to have a career long enough to where your son reaches an age where he's even able to enter it. That alone is amazing. So you need one of the longest careers any sport has ever seen. Then you need all of your DNA passed down to your kid, and then your kid needs to, what, be able to at least put up the illusion that I've got enough DNA to make me the right choice. I mean, I don't even see like, okay, well, so offensively skilled, it's not there, but as a defensive stopper, he is elite. No, I don't see that at all. It's really weird, but it's something else. It's something else. You know, there is a player out there in the world who's 100% more qualified to be a Los Angeles Laker, but that kid's name ain't James. So here we are. It's fascinating. It's when you say, create this team in my own image, literally, the own image is right there. He's behind his son. It's incredible. It's incredible. And it lacks credibility all at the same time. Who's a bigger Nepo baby than Bronny James? If you said, oh, no, man, he earned it. Oh, no, he didn't. He would be undrafted for sure had the Lakers not picked him up. So it's so unique. And I don't know how right or wrong it is. I know it's a combination of both, for sure. I really do. So I'm so looking forward to the Warriors getting underway tonight up in Portland. That gets going at 7 o'clock. I am ready. I need Steph Curry back in my life. I think you need Steph Curry back in your life. The Warriors will not lack for interesting all year long. They will not lack for interesting. I can guarantee you that. You never lack for interesting when you go ahead and you start perusing that Ike sandwich board. You walk into any Ike's, you open up his app, and by the way, you do need to download that rewards app and sign up for the rewards program. You get a free sandwich when you sign up. You can win prizes with each and every purchase. Every single time you go up there, you might be able to spin the wheel of fortune and be entered for a trip to New Orleans to a very large football game that's going to happen at the Superdome in February. So Ike has got all sorts of incentive. The biggest motivator, though, should be seeking deliciousness. My man has deliciousness just waiting for you at any and all Ikes. So get yourself into Ikes right now. I hope you plan on joining us at the Dubliner. We're going to be there November 3rd, Sunday, starting at noon. It is the Niner bye week that week, and we're going to be getting together. I hope you can come out and join us. I see a whole bunch of regulars already making plans in the chat, hopefully to meet there. Cannot wait to see so many of you. We have become friends, like real friends. And I think it's so cool that we've been able to do that. We're working our way towards 25,000 subscriptions. We will probably be there tomorrow, if not tonight, depending on how aggressive all new viewers today want to go ahead and sign up for subscriptions and whatnot. But again, all you got to do is press that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. It makes the algorithm sing. And again, I don't know if you got an instant winning algorithm, but you got a new sport to use it on if you do. Again, go to YouTube. 150 is your promo code when you sign up with BetUS, where the game begins. You can start playing today with 150% deposit bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. Go check it out right now. Your second deposit, by the way, the next two deposits are 125% match up to $2,000. And there you go. 150% on that first, 125% on your next two. Pardon me. Check out BetUS. You can support the show by supporting my sponsors. Or you do something that is really cool, like becoming a member. Did I start that? Where's my or did it go away? Hold on. Wait. I got a new member named James A. James. Welcome to the initiated. You are now among the initiated. Some of these viewers are just perusing. You are now born into it. So thank you very, very much for being part of the initiated. Thanks to everyone who's reaching out, hitting that like button on this video. Thanks to everyone who is sharing, singing songs of my tale to their friends, saying, hey, check this guy out. Word of mouth advertising is still the best advertising there is. So thank you so very much for supporting this channel and me and what we're doing. And I do hope to see you at Plus Mania 5, the Plusening. I'm talking to you, Mike. I'm talking to you, Skills. I'm talking to you, Otis. I'm talking to you, SG Sports Talk. I'm talking to you, Leslie. I'm talking to you, True Blue. I mean, we could do this all day. I'm talking to you, Erwin. You're my people. You are my people. Again, Liberty, don't know you. I hope to see you there. Liberty Eli. It's an embarrassment to the game. Bronny shouldn't even start for USC. I mean, Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not a Laker fan. I am a dad, so it's cool. Fine. Dalton Connect, though, huh? Dalton Connect. Woo! Sip of the day. There it is. There it is. That was a good one. That was right. We got Carl in here. We got Chef A in here. All the people that you need. And again, Smiley Dan committed to keeping us all safe. Yep, for sure about Connect. Hey, room for the Laker, but my homie took Connect for Rookie of the Year at 20-1. It's now 16-1. Dude, Dalton Connect. That looks legit, doesn't it? Pretty good. Pretty good. So, again, basketball back in my life. I'm happy. Indiana undefeated. I'm happy. Game day coming to Bloomington for the first time ever. I'm very happy. I'm thrilled. I'm having a pretty good sports week. You know, it wasn't good that the Niners lost to the Chiefs, but it's been good for the channel. Brings us lots of eyeballs when the Niners, it's funny, more people come to complain about sports than celebrate the good things. So when the Niners lose, it's actually good for the channel. We had a watch party, which was good for the channel. I'm feeling good. I don't know if you saw the tweet that was going around. I saw it on my Twitter timeline a few times yesterday, and my wife, even Jillian, comes home from the BART station. She gets in the car. She's like, "Do you see this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I actually have seen that. It was pretty funny." Some frustrated Bay Area sports fan is like, "So let me get this straight. The Dodgers are in the World Series. The Sharks cannot win a hockey game. And the 49ers' healthiest receiver was recovering from a gunshot wound just 8 weeks ago. Do I have that right? Is that where I live? Is that the world of sports I'm living in right now?" And yeah, it is. It is. The Bay Area needs the Warriors to come out and get them off to a good start. Bad. There's a lot of talk about what trade the 49ers can make. You know, what trade can the 49ers make to fix this year, to salvage this year? And I don't know what that is. And I wouldn't further invest in chasing it with future assets. Niners need to guard their future assets because they're going to need them. I think they need to dance with what they got. Like, you drafted young wide receivers. You made the choice to keep Ronnie Bell on this team. You know, you got to wake up in the bed you went to sleep in. And this is the bed they're sleeping in. So where can the 49ers go out and add Christian Kirk for all that money? Probably not going to do that. Waddle, that's not going to happen from a money standpoint. And it shouldn't need to happen. You should have answers to your own depth problems on your team when you've been in charge of it for 8 years in a row now. Sorry, I've got a head cold that's just, it will not go away. Will not go away. I got the stuffiness. It's all in the forehead. My in-laws were supposed to come over with some extended members of the family for just a little quick pop-in last night. I felt terrible. I had to cancel that because I just was sneezing and coughing and runny nosing it and just, I feel like crap. And look, when you feel like crap, you don't want to be around people. I don't want people to be around me because I don't want to get anybody sick. I told Tom and Liz last night, I was like, "Hey, we'd love to see you, but you just probably shouldn't come over. I hate to cancel this on you." Liz, by the way, if you're watching, cheers. Sorry. I watched Deebo Samuel hang out on a 49er sideline way too long for a guy who you're telling me is sick. So sick, as a matter of fact, he can't go. And I said something like, "Well, he better be so sick he should be in the hospital." And indeed, he was hospitalized for pneumonia. Everyone's like, "Oh, Damon, don't you feel so terrible that you said that?" No. And I talked about this with Larry, and Larry still doesn't understand what 93% survivability rate is for anyone between the ages of 18 and 64. But nope, you don't die of pneumonia in the Bay Area, especially when you're an elite world-class athlete. Deebo's already home. He's 28 years old. He's healthier than you and I could ever dream of being, unless he had some sort of, internal problem that they would find because you've now been hospitalized for pneumonia, in which case pneumonia saved your life because they found something else. Unless you are, your grandparents in your 80s or you have a Christian Scientist in a cabin in Montana who refuses to see a doctor. Like, pneumonia is beyond the concept of very treatable. It seriously is. So, oh, Damon, don't you feel terrible that you said? No, I don't. What I told you is that his reputation actually gets better by the hospital stay, because Deebo not appearing in a 49er game is something we've seen way too much of. So when it happens, people got questions. I'm sure his agent was like, hey, man, get it out there as fast as possible. He had to go to the hospital, pneumonia. Okay, so yeah, for a minute there, that's serious. And then you treat it, and then it's not. I expect him to play on Sunday. I really do. I expect him to play on Sunday. He should be fine by Sunday, you would think. This is such a huge game against the Cowboys. It's the very first time that, like, Brock, you got a little something to do here, man. Like, you didn't play well in your last game. You need a bounce-back game here, Brock. You know, it's his second full-time season as this team's quarterback. And last year, we know what he did. He was spectacular. And the reason, you know, I even heard Mike Sando brought up that there was an NFL executive saying that, no, you might want to trade Brock. No, you don't want to trade Brock. He's 24 years old. He checks all the boxes. You know, people telling you he doesn't have the right arm strength, they're wrong. People telling you he's not athletic enough, they're wrong. We've seen this with our own two eyes. Then all the other stuff that you don't think about that are very important. But, you know, I'm going to tell you right now, he's the least likely professional athlete in the Bay Area to get pulled over for a DUI. Don't you agree with that, with every bone in your body? He is the least likely to have a story of domestic violence written about him. Brock Purdy is a Boy Scout. He is a good soldier. He is a guy who is very faithful. He is somebody who just says the right thing every single time a microphone is pushed in front of his face, to the point where some have even accused him of being a little boring or too much of a company guy. You want your quarterback to be a company guy, because a single sentence could disrupt the company. You know, Brock absolutely ticks all the boxes you want. You know, he's 24. He's a kid. This is all still very much new to him. If he's about to have a 12-year career, I can't wait to see what year 6 of Brock Purdy looks like if the first 20, 30 games have been this good. Game against the Chiefs wasn't great. The season that he's underway having right now isn't great. We know that. We see that with our own two eyes, don't we? We do. But here's the deal. He had 31 touchdowns and 11 interceptions last year with a quarterback rating of 113. This year, it's been a down year for him. Return to what you did better. Get back to play action. Get back under center. Stop looking for deep shots. This is a big game for the Cowboys and Brock Purdy. And then this is just a big game on Sunday night. We are going to be doing another live watch party, so I hope you plan on hanging out with me on Sunday night. You know, Purdy's got 9 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. That's not him. That ratio is all off. I'll tell you, though, the single biggest problem, like the worst stat of the 49ers season so far, is the following. Jordan Mason, inside the 5-yard line this season, 7 carries, -1 yard, 1 touchdown. That's why the Niners aren't 5-2. Have they got problems? Sure they do. Could they use a better center? Could they use more help on their defensive line? Could they use another wide receiver, especially now with Brandon Ayuk hurt? Yes, sure. But guess what? Just getting Jordan Mason to average somewhere around his 5.2 yards per carry, which he averages all over the football field, except for when he's looking at a 2-goal situation. Then he turns into a civilian. He turns into one of us. He's just a guy, which we all know he's so much more than just a guy. Why is he struggling so mightily in short yardage and in goal line? Well, you always start looking at the offensive line and saying, what can you guys do getting better? He doesn't have time to slide and seek the cutback lane. He doesn't. See hole, hit hole hard. You know, that's what Isaac Guerrero has been brought in to do, right? See hole, hit hole hard. Well, both these guys have had a little fumbleitis. So You get better punching shit in on the goal line. This entire season feels much different than it has so far. Who would have ever thought that the 49ers would have a losing record going into the Cowboys game? I didn't think it was going to happen, but here we are. Cowboys are 3-3. The Niners are 3-4. I'll tell you right now, Mike McCarthy is no sucker coming out of a bye week. As a matter of fact, post-bye weeks, the Cowboys are 3-1 under McCarthy with an overtime loss to the Packers. You know, and they're a desperate team, man. They're watching their division get away from them. The Commanders are 5-2. The Eagles are 4-2. Cowboys got to play catch up. It's a huge Sunday night game. If Micah Parsons isn't out there, no excuses. If Micah Parsons is out there, no excuses. It is win this game time for the San Francisco 49ers. They haven't won 2 in a row yet this year. So get better, be better, and do it right now. Get better, be better, do it right now. Liberty. Just throwing $1 in that ganja jar. Liberty, if everybody threw $1 in the ganja jar, it would change the world. So thank you so very much. I appreciate you. What do we got, Hill? Skills report. One child is expensive enough. Sorry. Well, yeah, look, we're not going to trade. And, I did tell Jillian, I know I'm sure Jillian, like all moms, want that little daughter to play dress up with. And there's a part of me that thought, oh, daddy's little girl, that would have been adorable. As soon as we found out, because Jack was a surprise, we did not know Jack's sex until he was born. We had a good old-fashioned vaginal gender reveal, and we had no idea what he was going to be. As a matter of fact, he was born so late, like Jillian, God bless her, she was in labor for like 19 hours. Jack was born so late, like the last official prediction was, only a fabulously beautiful woman would be allowed to be this late. So I think we're about to have a daughter. And that's the first time I ever said, is this going to be a boy or a girl? And then, boom, it's Jack. For the second kid, I'm like, I'll get no more surprises. The first one was really, it was fun to do the surprise. This one, I want to know. I want to be able to plan some shit. So we did the, hey, Doc, write down for us, please, in an envelope what we got here. We're going to go home. We're going to have a bottle of wine. I had most of the bottle of wine. She was pregnant, obviously, but you can drink a little wine while you're pregnant. Everything in moderation. If drinking a little wine while you were pregnant meant your baby was going to be suffering from birth defects, how are they having kids over in Italy? Come on. So we opened a bottle of wine, and she told Weezy, boop, it's another boy. And the first thing I did was say, honey, I'm sure you wanted a girl there, but think of the money we just saved. Think of the money we just saved alone. In prom dresses, wedding dresses, shoes, purses, all the stuff that little girls need, berets and all this. Now we just got sequence of buy it for Jack, hand it down. Buy it for Jack, hand it down. We just saved. I'm not even kidding when I say that we just saved $500,000. Over the course of a life, you got to buy so much different stuff for girls than boys that that's easily $500,000 difference. I've been into a Sephora. I know what the price of fucking makeup is. So, I guess where was that? What were we talking about? Yeah. I'm sorry that we were. The two kids are great, but thank God that they're both boys. Or if anyone else is out there right now, you got a girl, hopefully they're all girls, and you can just play the hand-me-down game. Because you got to dress both sexes. Woo! There's no gender confusion there. That gets expensive. I told you we had a lot of weird stuff to talk about today. What do we got here? Damon. Don't they give baby bottles with wine in them in Italy? Oh, yeah, they're drinking right away. They come on out. They put a tortellini on each kid's toe. If the tortellini's on the right toe, it's a boy. If the tortellini's on the left toe, it's a girl. That's how they identify the sexes there. There are no pronouns. There's just tortellini. And so you see the tortellini, and then you immediately, you look for a nice Chianti to celebrate the birth of the child with the tortellini and the Chianti. I love when all the people are like saying hi to each other and hanging out and thrilled to see each other in the chat again. Makes me very happy. It's like I'm a proud papa or something. Chef A. And some liver? No, what? Come on. We're not going down that Hannibal Lecter path. There's only one political figure in the world doing that, and we ain't him. Although I got it here. Look, I wish I had it up. I'm going to have to do this. Not to get political, but this is also sports, and it made me funny. Hold on. I just got to show this to you real quick. I sent it to a buddy of mine. A couple buddies of mine. It was pretty funny. Of course, now I can't find it, right? Come on. Come on. Where is this real quick here? Here we go. This is photographic evidence of Arnold Palmer with a huge dick. That's pretty funny, right? We made 1 million Arnold Palmer big dick jokes in the last week. There you go. There's Arnold with his big dick. Phenomenal. That's not, by the way, that's not even political humor. That's a dick joke. We're allowing dick jokes at all times on this channel. Cheers, and you're welcome. All right. The NFL news that I do need to tell you about, I guess, is that DeAndre Hopkins has been traded. He's a Kansas City Chiefs now. So there you go. Chiefs got a little bit better with that deal. DeAndre Hopkins wasn't doing very much in Tennessee. He now will go to a place where he'll probably be a first-team All-Pro. The Warriors season starts tonight. Thank God. Give me Warriors hoops. 7 o'clock tip time. It's funny. We got a World Series that starts on Friday. The NBA says it's playing for a World Championship. The Super Bowl is for a World Championship. But there really is an element of, okay, NBA, this really is a World Championship. Because this isn't, jingoistic, only Americans are playing in the NBA, and the international talent isn't getting a shot at a World's title. All the international talent in the world is in the NBA, that belongs in the NBA, to the point where this is incredible. Are you ready for this? Just before I even give you the number, just quick answer in the chat if you would. I'd like to know what you think. How many international players are on NBA rosters this NBA season? Don't look it up. Just guess. What is your guess? Go ahead. I'll wait for some of these chats to come in. The amount of international players in the NBA this season. How many do you think it is? You know what it was. Many years ago, 1 or 2 guys would stand out as a big deal, an international player. But now it's all over the place. To the point where the NBA is saying that they are crowning a world champion. Probably has more credo than in baseball, than in football. The only real world competition, right, is a World Cup. So we got a lot of people coming in. So I didn't ask for a percentage. I said, how many? E. Scott Burns says 35%. Postman, more than 50%. Good to see you, Postman. Oy, oy, oy! Chef A says 213. Alex, 160, 450, 50, 250. So you're all over the place. There is an NBA record tying 125 international players. 43 different countries are now represented across NBA rosters. 43 countries, 125 international players. We're talking 6 continents on opening night rosters in the NBA. And look, they are just starting to really tap into the raw talent on the continent of Africa. Wait until NBA Africa is into its 25th year, right? Wait until you see how much that number will go up in that alone. And then you have all the European players and the Greek players and the Spanish players. And I heard that right now there are more 7-foot kids drilling how to be basketball players in China than America has shooting guards. Like there are, I think, 8,000 7-foot tall Chinese prospects. It's insane. I read something. There was an article I read a year ago. I'm sure I got the number wrong there. Don't quote me on that. But basically, forget about just, do you think you got a few centers for the NBA? China could fill a battalion of 7-foot tall teenagers right now. I mean, the world's athletic talent when it comes to the sport of basketball is growing in a rate that no one could have ever really seen. Like, even if it became popular, it's not, they're not going to be invading like that. They have invaded like that. 125 international players from 43 countries, all 6 continents on opening night rosters. How about that? That's incredible. What is America's greatest export? Because we import everything, right? You go over to other countries, you don't see a lot of Fords and Chevys. What is America's greatest export? Hollywood, entertainment, interwebs, computing, everything, even though all that is manufactured somewhere else. And basketball. We have exported the sport of basketball through the Dream Team and that one transaction that has changed the way the entire globe functions through this sport. It's incredible. It really is. Again, you telling me that there wasn't some kid right now sitting in Bratislava who would have been a better Laker than Bronny James? But unfortunately, that kid from Bratislava doesn't have James on the back of his jersey. That means he ain't gonna be a Laker. Do you realize that the Sharks are the only team in the NHL without a win so far this season? You probably didn't even know that hockey had started. It has. And the Sharks are the only team in hockey without a win. They're 0-5-2 on the year. I got to get Brody Brazil to come on by soon and just ask him why. It's one thing to be bad. It's another thing to be like unable to skate forward level bad. And that's what the Sharks have been now for a couple of years. They're visiting the Kings on Thursday night. And speaking of sports in Los Angeles later this week, that brings us to the World Series, kids. Dodgers and Yankees. Game 1 of the World Series Friday night at Dodger Stadium. It's going to be Cole versus Flaherty in Game 1. And all I can tell you is that Fernando Mania is going to be in the air. And if you need some ghosts, if you need to wake up the echoes, you need a little cosmos. Dodgers even have that on their side now. Rest in peace to Fernando Valenzuela. Fernando Valenzuela threw 8 shutout innings in 25 starts in 1981. The only pitcher that has ever thrown more than 8 shutouts in any season since was John Tudor in 1985. Fernando basically came in with the no one has ever seen a screwball quite like this movement on some of his off-speed stuff, and he baffled Major League Baseball for a long time. All great players get to, if they're healthy enough, accumulate, compiling stats. Some of the greatest players, though, really are flash in the pans, and Fernando was more than a flash in the pan. But that 1981 season, he was, for a minute, the single most popular the most popular athlete on planet Earth, certainly on planet baseball. Like, he was, it would be impossible to describe how popular he was. He is one of the first me recognizing a player from a different team. I was 6 years old in 1981. And I used to walk around thinking that Fernando Valenzuela was like one of the coolest names ever. Like, all my friends' names were like Mark and Ben and Justin and Desmond and Mike. I didn't know a single Fernando. Oh, like, that's a great name. And what's his last name? Valenzuela? I mean, I would, with the thickest Spanish accent a 6-year-old could cook up, I would walk around going, Fernando Mania. It was like part of my awareness of Major League Baseball. It's one of the first professional athletes I ever thought about a lot as a kid. Rest in peace, Fernando. The only other time I ever heard that name was the ABBA song, Fernando. Na, 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 na. Da, na, da, da, da. Fernando. That and Fernando Valenzuela. Dodgers are winning the fucking World Series, aren't they? So at least you got that going for you, Giants fans. Oh. By the way, Shohei Ohtani is hitting .818 in his last 22 at-bats with runners in scoring position. That's not his slugging percentage or his on-base plus slugging. That is his batting average. 18 hits in 22 at-bats with runners in scoring position. He is the greatest baseball player of all time. How about this? We always talk about 5 tools. Ohtani's got 7 tools. He's got all the tools. He's got more tools. He's got so many tools, he can't even fit them all on his tool belt. He needs a utility belt. He's a superhero. I think the Dodgers got the 3 maybe best baseball players on the planet are in this series. Dodgers got 2 of them, hitting 1-2 right at the top of their lineup. Ohtani and Mookie Betts. Juan Soto is probably the 3rd best player on the planet right now, and he's a Yankee. Wonder if the Padres could use him. But sure, give me the World Series. I'm in. I think the Dodgers are going to beat the Yankees. Almost to our Today in History segment. Let me ask you a quick question. You want to feel old? You want to feel old? Here we go. 31 years ago today, 1993. Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life. Joe Carter took Mitch Williams deep at the Sky Dome, as it was called back then. And the Toronto Blue Jays won back-to-back World Series championships with Joe Carter hitting one of the most memorable home runs of my life, 31 years ago today in 1993. And that brings us to our Today in History. First of all, thanks to everybody for tuning in today. Thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks to our new member. Thanks for throwing a buck in the ganja jar earlier today. Thanks to all of you for being here, for hanging out. I hope to see you all at Plus Mania, which of course will be happening at the Dubliner and West Portal on November 3rd, starting at noon. We're all going to get together and watch our casual day of football at the Dubliner. So hopefully you plan on being there for that. We are brought to you by BetUS, as you know. Right now, as I've told you before, you can sign up for 150% sign-up bonus when you use promo code YouTube150 over at BetUS. And please do use promo code YouTube150. 150% signing bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit, 125% up to $2,000 on your subsequent deposits. And then, oh, by the way, make sure you deposit an Ike's sandwiches in your belly as fast as you can. And when you do it, sign up for the app. and start earning your way towards free sandwiches, a trip to a big football game that's going to happen at the Superdome in February. All good things flow through the Ike's Rewards app. Get yourself on that app, sign up for the rewards program, and have a delicious sandwich. Do it today, Junior. Speaking of today, Junior, today in history. Happy birthday to Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie, 62 years old today. Now, you might know Doug Flutie from the supplement ad where he's hitting golf balls with Frank Thomas, and someone was like, hey, are you on that? And he's like, yeah, I'm on that, and I'm hitting it longer and straighter than ever before, and I don't even think they're really talking about golf now, and she'll be happy that you did. That terrible commercial? She's going to like it too. Well, that's probably like just, ground up clamshells. I don't think there's anything in that pill that's going to work for you. Or maybe it's a medical miracle. All I know is that Flutie to Phelan was the miracle that punctuated his Heisman Trophy in 1984. He cocked back a Hail Mary and threw it to his roommate and beat Miami. And what was that? Vinny Testaverde, Miami Heat days, or Miami Hurricane days. And that launched Flutie into a legendary Boston College status that at the time, football in the Northeast was not that big of a deal. And Flutie just changed so much right there. A guy had 21 seasons as a pro quarterback, 12 of them in the NFL. Not bad for 5'10", 180 pounds soaking wet Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie, man. He was a hell of a Buffalo Bill there for a minute. So happy birthday to Doug Flutie. Another one of those huge names of my sporting childhood, along with Fernando, who we lost yesterday. No longer with us, speaking of rather large figure and shadow cast over his sport, Pele. Today would have been Pele's birthday. He passed away in 2022, but he was born today in 1940. Pele, if you've never seen the movie Victory with Sylvester Stallone, where they play a soccer game to get out of a Nazi prison camp, Pele's in that. Still the most famous Brazilian ever? Or is that officially Giselle? Is Giselle more famous than Pele? I don't know. Today in 2001, music changed forever. Today in 2001, Apple introduced the iPod. Can you imagine life without digital music? Like, we used to have to go buy tapes and records and cassettes to listen to music. You had to go to an actual store. You had to walk into a place called Sam Goody's. You had to walk into a place called Tower Records. You had to walk into, thank God you can still walk into Amoeba on Upper Haight Street, but you had to walk into a place to buy music. Now you can just, I like that song, I'm going to download it right on my phone. None of that happens without the iPod basically moving the entire industry so much in that direction. Music changed forever today. 2001, the iPad was introduced. The iPod, not the pad. The pad would come. Started with the pod. By the way, you can download this pod of this show anywhere you download your podcasts, and I hope that you do. It's been a good month for our podcast downloads. It better be during football season. If that Joe Carter home run didn't make you feel old, you really want to feel old now? Especially you dirty old men who watched the video because there was a big Lolita Catholic schoolgirl thing going on at the time. Today, in 1998, Britney Spears released Hit Me Baby One More Time. That song is now 26 years old. Good God. 26 years old. That officially means Hit Me Baby One More Time qualifies for classic pop. It's obviously not a rock song, But this is now going to be, I think I shared this story with you. I was reading an article about radio and how some genres have died and some new genres are being born. Well, among the genres being born right now are the concept of classic rap, classic hip hop. Hip hop is officially old enough now to have its classics. So classic rap stations are popping up like classic rock stations would pop up in the 90s to play you Eagle songs from the 70s. So that is happening. And classic pop songs everywhere. Like, somebody who's in their 50s is going to want to reminisce about their high school days. And because they had shitty taste in music and music was demonstrably kind of awful for a minute there in the 90s, their version of classic, Bring Me Back to My High School Days, isn't like an original Led Zeppelin album. It's the Backstreet Boys. It's 98 Degrees or something like that. Ugh. Like, I never got into that, but there's somebody who's going to hear a song by the Backstreet Boys and get all emotional. Classic hip hop and classic pop are two genres that are happening right now in radio. And if you like a classic Disney movie, you got one today all the way back in 1941. Happy 83rd birthday to the movie Dumbo, released by Disney today. So there you go. By the way, Dumbo, a lot about that still appeals to kids. There's an awful lot about Dumbo that does not exactly stand the test of time, but interesting. How about this? If you choose at any moment in your life to be offended by Dumbo, you just ain't going to make it. Okay? Like, you're not going to make it. If the crows scene in Dumbo really bothers you that much, you need to stay inside, like, forever. You're not going to make it out there. The world's a cruel, big, nasty place, and it ain't for you. Erwin is asking, Damon, how many subs away from 25,000? Let me go ahead and get an updated count here. Let's see. We have 24,957. So 43 subs away. 43 subs away from the 25,000 mark. Erwin, thank you for being an early adapter. Thanks to all of you for being so many early adapters. I know a lot of you who are in this chat right now were there from day one. And I thank you very much for being here on this day. But this show's over. And we'll hit 25K, I bet you, by the end of tomorrow's show. So I hope to see you again on Thursday. In the meantime, thank you so much for spending part of your very important time with me here today. Erwin, he wants an official. I don't get that at all. Gina, I don't know what you're not getting. I clicked on you by accident there. Let's see. What do we got? This was Erwin, basically. Erwin just dropped That's what Erwin dropped. Thank you all very much for dropping your oys, your time, your attention with us here right now. Means a lot. Damon, did you get out to country reggae? Monty, you got to check out country reggae. Is that a band? Or is that a genre? Is there a band called country reggae? Because I'm telling you right now, I am raising my child right. Jack really likes Bob Marley. I feel good about that. I will check it out. Gina just says, love you, Damon. We'll see you tomorrow. We will see you tomorrow. I hope to see you at Plus Mania, at the Dubliner and West Portal. In the meantime, thanks to all of you for being here today. And please do remember that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's gone.